1989, Ofra won the first prize in the Tokyo Music Festival with In Ninanu.
I first heard some of Ofra's music when I was still living in Europe. I was living in London, and a friend of mine, a record producer called Howie B, who worked with U2 and people like this, came back from Israel with this record. He was lasting in my studio. I don't even know which one it was, but I went in there like, what's this? And he goes, and you should look at her. And I instantly fell in love with her sound and her talent and everything.
I'd heard Ofra, I'd heard Amin Alou, and that was such a big hit, and my band Was Not Was had a big hit around the same time. We were all booked into the Tokyo Music Festival.
הם גמרו עם הלהקה שלו, Was Not Was, סיימו לעשות סאונד צ'ק, ואז תורנו היה, עופרה עלתה לבמה, ופתאום איך שהיא עושה בלנס לשיר עם הקול שלה, פתאום אני מרגיש שמישהו עומד לידי ומאוד מאוד מתלהב בצורה קולנית מעופרה.
And she started singing, and her voice just filled up this hall. It was I was in a conversation with somebody, and everyone just stopped and turned around.
Oh, let the sun be down upon my face.
The international press dubbed Ofra the ethnic music queen. And from here on, the gates to what is now known in the U.S. as world music were wide open.
Of both time and space, to be where I have been.
כשהגענו ללוס אנג'לס, פתאום ראיתי כתבה מדהימה על דון ווז ברולינג סטון. אמרתי לעופרה, תשמעי, הנה המפיק שלנו, בואי עכשיו צלצל אליו.
And they sent me a tape of songs with it, and I kept producing more, doing a whole album, a follow-up to the Amin Alou album. I got back to LA and I put on the tape, and the first song on was the song Curia. It was a bad recording, you know. It was a cassette. It was noisy. It had all this hiss. The hiss sounded like wind. It sounded ancient, you know. It sounded like very. And then when her voice came on, I thought, this is not the voice of a young girl here. This is a voice that's been around for, you know, thousands of years. I would have to say I was riveted listening to that tape and knew that I had to work on that record.
Her album Curia was nominated for a Grammy Award in the World Music category. To date, Ofra Haza is the only Israeli singer to receive this honor.
אני בטוחה שהמוזיקה התימנית עושה להם הרבה יותר מאשר אם הייתי שרה מוזיקה אחרת, כי זה משהו שקשור בליבי, במשפחתי, בשורשים שלי.
We weren't making records. It was a religious experience. That voice reached out and made some kind of connection from the origin of man. You know, whatever problems we have in this particular culture, they were irrelevant when you started listening to Ofra's voice. The song Daudahia, that was an interesting song. Beautifully told by Ofra through her singing and the music. We thought we would add a layer of rock and roll wildness. So who's a wild guy? You could get Iggy Pop, the wildest, right? And he was actually a big fan of Ofra's, you know, so it was very easy. He was a good friend from Detroit, and he came down and he narrated Daudahia.
Ofra's international success and unique voice made many famous artists want to sing with her. Stars such as Stefan Wagershausen from Germany, Sister of Mercy from England, Ote from Japan, Paula Abdul, Iggy Pop, and many others, as well as a special, well-known singer.
So I'd heard about her, then that night I saw her and we met. And I was very drawn to her as a person, her spirituality, the sound of her voice, the uniqueness of her talent. And one thing led to another from that event that night, that we promised we'd stay in touch, and stayed in touch because of the fit, the way we connected, that we would do something together. And I think that night I sang a song called Freedom for the World, which got her attention.